Is my screen visible? Hello? Hello, Suresh?
Visible, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the second day of the webinar series. So, yesterday we have seen the basic softwares that are used in the IC industry. So, today in the morning session, so we will be dealing with the Tanner EDA software. So, in the afternoon session, so we will be dealing with the NI Multisync. Basically, the Tanner EDA is useful for designing the CMOS circuits as well as the FinFET circuits. So now let us see here. So before going deep into that, so we will take an example of CMOS circuit. I think all of you know about inverter. So what does the functionality of inverter? So whatever the input you are giving, so it will reverse the input, and output will be reverse of the input. So here on the screen I am presenting you the CMOS inverter. So digital CMOS inverter. So for this CMOS inverter, if the input is equal to 0, the output is 1, and if the input is 1, the output is 0. So if you see the logic diagram here, so A is the input and Y is the output. So the input and output are reversed to each other. So this logic can be logic can be constructed by using different technologies. You can use CMOS, you can use FinFET, you can use BJT. Any technology we can use depending upon the requirement and depending upon the technology present at that situation. So now the thing here we have displayed is the CMOS inverter. So CMOS means complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So it is a combination of PMOS plus NMOS. Okay. So here the pull-up transistor, that is the transistor which is present, which is above the output Y is PMOS transistor, that is, and the transistor which is connected to ground, it is NMOS transistor. So these two are connected to form the CMOS transistor. Okay, PMOS transistor means P channel MOS transistor, and NMOS transistor means N channel MOS transistor. So in the MOS transistor, if the channel is formed of P-type material, so then it is PMOS, and if the channel is formed of N-type material, then it is N channel here. In order to construct the CMOS inverter, so there is a three rules majorly. Both the gates of both PMOS and NMOS transistors are connected to gate. So you can see here, this is gate, this is drain, and this is source. The gates of both PMOS and NMOS are connected together to form the input of your CMOS transistor. The drains of PMOS and NMOS are connected together to form the output Y. The source of PMOS is connected to VDD and the source of NMOS is connected to ground. And moreover, the PMOS should be present. The PMOS transistor should be present on the upper side. Why? Because due to its load properties. So whenever we are conducting a transistor, so connecting a circuit to the VDD, so the thing which is connected to the power supply should be having the load properties, good load properties. So due to this reason, so PMOS is connected to VDD, NMOS is connected to ground. Now, if you see the operation of this CMOS transistor here, if A is equal to 0, if A is equal to 0 means input is equal to 0, if the NMOS transistors becomes off and the PMOS transistor becomes on. So now if the transistor becomes off means it becomes a open circuit, and if a transistor is on, then it becomes a short circuit. So as the NMOS transistor is off here, it becomes a open switch. That means there will be a no connection. If a transistor becomes on, it becomes a short circuit and there is a conducting path. Now, if A is equal to 0, PMOS is on and NMOS is off. So there is a connection between VDD to output Y here. So that means whatever the input, whatever the supply voltage we are giving at the VDD, so that will be given to the output. So in digital, normally VDD is logic 1. So therefore, output, therefore the output is equal to 1. And next, when input A is equal to 1. So when input A is equal to 1, what happens is that NMOS becomes on and PMOS becomes off. If PMOS becomes off here, so these PMOS transistors become open circuit. So then there is no connection from the VDD to output. And as the NMOS transistor is on here, so there is a short circuit. So there will be a connection from Y to ground. So then there is a discharging path from the output node to the ground. So whatever the voltage that is stored in the previous case, so at the output, so that will be discharged to ground. So this is the reason why when the input is equal to 1, so we are getting the output as 0. So this is the operation of CMOS inverter. So now what you do is that, so we will construct this CMOS inverter in the Tanner EDA tool, and we will analyze the important characteristics of this CMOS inverter. Now, if you see here, so Tanner EDA, so in Tanner EDA, we have mainly 5 tools. The first one is, so in Tanner EDA, we have the first thing as SEdit. So it is the SEdit here. So SEdit means schematic editor. So we can able to draft the schematics. Okay, so whatever the circuit you want to draw, these circuits can be drawn in the schematic editor. So after drawing the schematics, next we have to convert that circuit, we have to simulate that. So in any of the schematic based simulators, so after drawing the schematic and before getting the simulation result, the circuit will be converted into the SPICE code. As I told you, the circuit will be converted into the SPICE code. So in order to work with the SPICE coding, we have a software known as T-Spice. And next, after simulating, we have to see the waveforms. So for this, we have the WEdit here, so which is nothing but the waveform editor. So after verifying your simulation results, we have to draft the layout of your circuit. So in order to draft the layout of your circuit, you require a LEdit. So LEdit means layout editor. And so next, as I told you yesterday, for the physical verification, you require the LVS, that is layout versus schematic. So from this, you can analyze that the Tanner EDA tool consists of mainly 5 sub-tools. Okay, the first one is SEdit for drawing the schematics of your circuit, and next it consists of T-Spice, that is Tanner Spice. So SPICE stands for Simulation Program for Integrated Circuit Emphasis. So regarding how to write the SPICE code and everything in detail, we can go through tomorrow about the SPICE coding. Next, we have the WEdit, so which is nothing but the waveform editor. And next, after that, we have the LVS for LEdit for drawing the layout, and LVS for comparing the layout versus schematic. So now let us see about the schematic editor here. So it is the schematic editor main window here. Okay, so now let me tell you, the Tanner EDA is useful for designing the CMOS technology as well as FinFET technology related circuits. Why? Because so it is used in the mostly in the academics, somewhat in the industry. So when you see about the multi-sim software, so the multi-sim software can be used for analog as well as digital. Similarly, Tanner EDA is used for analog as well as digital, but Tanner EDA is more inclined towards industry when compared with the multi-sim. So multi-sim is a basic simulator that is used in the industry. Okay, so it is the multi-sim is basically used in the academics. So it is a toolbar here. So edit. So file, edit, view, draw, cell, setup. So this is a toolbar consisting of main menu here. Okay. So in order to draft your schematic first, so we have to go to the new design here. So go file, new design. Okay. So file, new design. Here we can give the design name. So the design name is not specific, so you can give any design name here. So I'm giving the design name as some switched. Okay, so create in folder. So create in folder is nothing but the where we want to store the project. So I have chosen the C drive Tanner work folder. So once after giving the design name and create in folder, so click on OK here. So now the design is formed. So in this design, so we can create different cells. Here, go to cell, new view. So in the design, we can create a different circuits. So each circuit can be created as a new cell here. So in order to create a circuit, first go to cell in the toolbar, new view. Okay. So the circuit is, the design name is switched. So since I am going for the CMOS inverter, so the circuit name is CMOS inverter here. So view type. So these are the different views you can create. You can directly create a symbol. You can create a schematic. So from the schematic, you can generate a symbol, and this symbol can be used for the different circuits. So after that, so you can directly write the SPICE coding by using the SPICE. And next one is Verilog A and Verilog AMS. As I told you, so these are the new potential languages for designing your analog circuits. So normally for designing the digital circuits, as I told you, there are hardware description languages. So Verilog A and Verilog AMS are the potential softwares for drafting your analog circuits. So you can program your analog circuits. So Verilog is for drafting your or for programming your digital circuit. So I'm going for the schematic. So interface view 0. So this can be ignored. So click on OK here. So now it is the workspace here. So you can see the workspace. Okay. So in this workspace, so there are two types of dots here. So one is very thick and the remaining dots are thin here. Okay. So the thick dots. So these thick dots are called as major grids, and the thin dots. So that there will be 10 thin dots in between the two thick dots. So these are called as minor grids. Okay. So this black color space with dots is known as the workspace. So if you take a schematic editor, so every schematic editor consisting of a workspace. So in this workspace, we have to draft your circuit. Okay. So now before constructing the circuits, I have to add the required library files. So if you take any software, so in any software that may be Cadence or Mentor or Synopsys, Tanner, Multisim, any software, any schematic based software consisting of predefined libraries. Okay, so from that predefined library files, we have to construct our circuit. Here we have to add that predefined libraries here. So in order to add that, so in the libraries, you can go add here. So add, click on add here. So if you click on add, so you get a add library tab. So here you can browse it. So in the Tanner, so when you install the software, the libraries will be stored in the My Documents. So go to the documents. So in the Tanner EDA, these are the different types of files that are available once you install your software. So in the process folder, in the standard libraries, so these are the predefined libraries. So devices, MISC, spice commands, spice elements, measure, TCL. Okay, so these are the different things that are present in the standard libraries. So we have to add them. So add devices. Okay. After that, once again click on add, browse it. So again in the My Documents, standard libraries, add MISC libraries. So whatever the standard libraries are there, we have to add them. We have to add everything. So spice commands. So after adding the spice commands, so again add the spice elements. So after adding the spice elements, so spice measure. So no need of adding the TCL. So you can ignore that. So these are the different things here. So you can now see. So spice elements, spice measure, devices, MISC, and spice commands. So these have been added. Now let us see. In the devices, predefined symbols are there. So in the devices library, you have capacitor, diodes, inductors, NFET, NMOSFET, NMOS, NPN transistors, PFET, PMOSFET, PMOS, NPN resistors. So these are the predefined symbols that are predefined schematics that are present in the devices. And next in the MISC library here, so that is the miscellaneous. MISC means miscellaneous. In the miscellaneous library, we have the VDD, ground, no connection, page ID, so VDD, VSS. These are the different types of symbols that are present in the miscellaneous library. The next one is spice. Spice. So before that, spice elements. In the spice elements, so different types of current sources and voltage sources and noise sources are defined. You can see here current source, delay elements. So you can see the symbols here. Okay, so switches, transformers, vectors, so voltage sources, everything are predefined in the spice elements. And next one is spice commands. Okay, so in order to measure the measuring properties, the different measuring properties were defined in the spice commands. So you can see here print charge, print current, print device state, print expression, print noise, print power, print voltage, print random variable, spice parameter, temperature sweep. So these are the different types of commands in order to get your outputs. And next one is spice measure. So in the spice measure, so the rise time measure, rise time, fall time, frequency measurement elements are predefined in the spice measure. So this is the basic symbols that are present in the already present in your libraries. So now let us construct the CMOS inverter here. So in order to construct the CMOS inverter, the first thing what we have to do is that you have to take a PMOS and we have to take the NMOS. Okay, so now take the NMOS transistor. So NMOS transistor should be placed down here. So place the NMOS transistor. So after that, click on escape. So next, select a PMOS transistor instance. So place the PMOS transistor. Okay, so escape it. So now you can see here for the NMOS, the properties. If you click on the NMOS transistor here, so it will automatically turn in yellow in color. So the properties of these NMOS transistors are listed here. You can see here. So L is nothing but the length of the transistor. So W is nothing but the width of the transistors, and M is the multiplication factor. So here L is equal to 0.25 microns. That means the length of the transistor is 0.25 microns. So 0.25 microns means it is nothing but the 250 nanometer. Okay, so from this you can say the length of the transistor is 250 nanometer, means the technology what you are using here is 250 nanometer. Okay, so now if you want to change the technology, okay, so I want to simulate it at 45 nanometer technology, means I have to change the length of the transistor here. Okay, how can I change the length of the transistor? So before that, if I want to simulate a particular circuit at a particular technology, I require the foundry file. Okay, so I require the GDK file. So this GDK file I will be getting from the foundries. Yesterday I have told you, so TSMC, AMI, these are the different foundries, so that will manufacture your IC. So these foundries will give you the required technology files. Okay, so now what I am doing is that, so I am changing, I want to simulate the CMOS circuit at 45 nanometer technology. So now what I will do is that, so I will go to the properties. So in the right we have the properties window. Once if you click on the NMOS transistor, in the right we have the property window. In the property window at the L here, so you change the size of the transistor as 45N. So now you can see here. So the length of your NMOS transistor has been changed to 45, and moreover, the maximum, there is a relation between the length and width. The maximum, the width of a transistor should be maximum 5 times more than that of the length of a transistor in analog, but in case of, sorry, in digital, but in case of analog, so it depends upon the design properties. Okay, so now what I do is that I am taking the width also as, so let me take, so I am taking width twice. So width of the NMOS as 90 nanometer. So next, the CMOS means combination of PMOS and NMOS. So both has to be the same thing here. So now select the PMOS. So in the property window, so what you do is that length you change it as 45 nanometer. Similarly, so now when you are designing a PMOS here, normally the width of PMOS transistor is twice that of the width of NMOS, 2.5 times the width of NMOS transistor. Why? Because the mobility of holes, the mobility of holes is 2.5 times lesser than the mobility of electrons. That means the mobility of electrons is 2.5 times faster than the mobility of holes. So due to this, so in order to accommodate the same amount of current in the PMOS and NMOS during the conduction, so what you do is that, so you have to keep the width of PMOS twice the width of NMOS. So here the width of NMOS is 90 nanometer, so therefore keep the width of PMOS as 180 nanometer. Okay. So width is 180 nanometer. So 180 nanometer I have kept here. So now I require a VDD power supply here. Okay. So similarly I required the ground here. Now I have to connect both the transistors. So here there is a wire here. So wire. So click on that wire. So just connect both the gates of your transistors. So now the PMOS and NMOS transistors are connected together. Similarly, connect drains of PMOS and NMOS here. So now I have connected the drains of PMOS and NMOS. So next I have to connect the source of PMOS to VDD, and next I have to connect the source of NMOS to ground. So in order to get the PMOS and NMOS symbols, so in the MISC here, okay. So in the MISC VDD, so instance, So VDD here. So place it and press escape. So similarly, ground, select ground and place here. Okay. So next, connect VDD to PMOS, source of PMOS. Select connect NMOS to the ground. So if you see in this transistors here, so in the PMOS, so the substrate, there is a fourth terminal in the PMOS, so which is connected to VDD. So similarly, there is a P substrate in the NMOS, so which is connected to ground. So this technology, so whatever the technology files you are using here, so these are based on the N-well fabrication process. So again, in the CMOS manufacturing process, there are different techniques. So there are different fabrication techniques like N-well fabrication technique, P-well fabrication technique. Again, there will be a twin-tub fabrication technique. So normally worldwide, so most of the foundries will use the N-well fabrication technique. So all the designs are based on the N-well fabrication technique. So in the N-well fabrication technique, the substrate in the N substrate in the PMOS is connected to VDD, and the P substrate in the NMOS is connected to ground. So this is the inverter. So once the inverter has been connected here, so we have to define the input and output pins here. So in order to define the input and output pins here, so now select the ports here. So here you can see, okay, top there is a port in port. So click on the in port. So in order to rotate it, so press R on your keyboard, so it will rotate. Now place NMOS transistor here. So click on OK. So before that, the name of the port can be changed. So you can keep the port anything here, name of the port anything. So click on OK. So similarly, click on the output port. Play the output port here, out. So now connect the input port as well as output port. So now I have connected. So this is your CMOS inverter here. So this CMOS inverter where both the gates of PMOS and NMOS are connected together to the input terminal IN, and the drains of PMOS and NMOS are connected to the output terminal out. The source of PMOS is connected to VDD and the source of NMOS is connected to ground. So it is the circuit. So once the circuit is done here, so you can save your circuit. So now we have to go for the simulation. So in order to go for the simulation here, the first thing is go to setup. So in the setup in the SPICE simulation. So setup SPICE simulation here. So in the SPICE simulation, these are the general properties. So in the general properties, first you can include the library file or include files here. So we have to add the, so since this circuit is designed for a 45 nanometer CMOS technology, we have to add the CMOS 45 nanometer technology file. So now add that CMOS 45 nanometer technology file. So in the library files here. So or else you can add it later also in the SPICE through the SPICE command. So library file. So library file here. The technology files are present here, nanometer technology files. So since I am going for the 45 nanometer technology file, so I have added that technology file. So 45 nanometer means that is the minimum channel length. So now you can select 90 nanometer or 180 nanometer and you can simulate your circuit with the 45 nanometer also. The 45 nanometer means it is the minimum channel length. Okay. So now after that, you can see here this next after selecting the library files here. So the next thing what you can see is that you can go for the spice option. So these are the different types of analysis that are present here. Okay, so DC operating point, so it will give the operating point of your circuit. And next one is transient analysis. So transient analysis means, so the output, it will plot the output and input waveforms in accordance with the given time. Okay, with respect to time, the output and input voltage will be plotted. Input voltage or input current will be plotted. And next one is, so DC sweep analysis. In the DC sweep analysis, what you can do is that, so you can give a certain sweep voltage. So that means if you vary the input voltage from 0 to 1 volt, what will be the output? So normally when you give the input as 1 volt, you get the output as 0. Now if you change the input voltage from 0 to 1, so what are the characteristics of your output voltage? And next one is AC analysis. So in the AC analysis, so we will simulate your circuit with respect to the frequency, and the output plot will be the magnitude. And next one is the noise analysis. So that is the unwanted signal that is present in the circuit. What are the different types of noises? Everything will be there internally again. So if you want to do the noise analysis, definitely you want to do the AC analysis first. So once the AC analysis is done, then only you can go for the noise analysis. So next one is temperature sweep here. So normally, so with respect to the temperature variation, the circuit behavior also will change. Okay, that temperature sweep analysis can be done by using the temperature sweep here. Okay, so normally at the whatever the simulation you will do in any tool, the basic temperature set is 27 degrees centigrade. Here you can vary the temperature and you can see how your output will vary with respect to the change in the temperature. And next one is parametric sweep analysis. So in the parametric sweep analysis, you can vary the different parameters. For example, so I vary the input voltage parameter, so from 0 to 1. Okay, so now I can see what is the variation in the output, or else I will vary the length of my transistor, and I can see if I vary the length of the transistor, so what is the output variation, voltage variation I am getting. So all this parameter sweep can be seen in the parametric sweep analysis. And next one is Cornell analysis. It is also called as Monte Carlo analysis. So in the Monte Carlo analysis, what you can do is that whenever you run a simulation in a tool, you get one output. Second time, if you run the simulation, there will be minor changes in the simulation output. So if now what this Monte Carlo analysis will do is that, so this Monte Carlo analysis, so will run the software for a given set of runs. For example, I want to run the same output for 100 times. So after running it for 100 times, the average value output will be shown. So it is the Monte Carlo simulation. So now I am going for the transient analysis. So click on transient analysis here. So in the transient analysis, what I can do is that, so take start time. So start time I'm taking it as 0 nanoseconds. So stop time I'm taking it as 1000 nanoseconds. Okay, so start time is 0 nanoseconds. The simulation stop time is 1000 nanoseconds. So after that, print time step. So print time step is 10 nanoseconds, and maximum time step is 10 nanoseconds. So this is the simulation things you can take. So print time step is 10 nanoseconds. So next, select this simulation here. So now if you click on OK, so next there is T here. You can, in the tab you can see T, that is open in TSpice. So now if you click on that, what happens is that the related SPICE code of your software is shown. So you can see here. So the T-Spice is opening. If you run the simulation directly also, so it internally converts your circuit into the SPICE code. So after the SPICE code, so you will be getting the output. So you see here. So it is your library file. So dot library, and it is the technology file which you have added. So the technology file is PTM 45 nanometer, that is predictive technology model 45 nanometer technology file here. And whatever the circuit we have constructed, CMOS circuit, so this CMOS circuit is written in terms of the SPICE code here. So let us analyze it roughly. So it is NMOS transistor. The name of the NMOS transistor is NMOS1. So in your circuit here, what is the name of the transistor? NMOS1. NMOS1. So here the length is 45 nanometer, width is 90 nanometer. So the drain of the NMOS is connected to output, the gate is connected to IN, the source is connected to ground, and the substrate is connected to 0. Similarly, PMOS, the name of the PMOS is NPMOS1. So the input, the drain is connected to output, the gate is connected to input, the source is connected to VDD, as well as the substrate is connected to VDD. The length of PMOS is 45 nanometer and the width is 180 nanometer. So next, we are going for the transient analysis here. So in the start time of the transient analysis is 0 nanometer, and the runtime is 1000 nanoseconds, and the time step is 10 nanoseconds. That means for every 10 nanoseconds my output has to be plotted. Okay, so this is the thing that is shown in the SPICE code here. So next, now if you want to see, so there are the input port as well as the output port. So we have to make sure we have to print this. So in order to print this input and output nodes voltages, so what I have to do is that I have to add a command known as print voltage. So now here insert command is a tab. In the tab there is a insert command. So click on the insert command. So output, I have to print the transient, and I am doing the transient analysis. So in the transient analysis, so I have to print the nodes. So I can plot this. So I can plot current, I can plot power, I can plot expression, everything. So now I require the voltage here. The plot type is voltage. So node name, I have taken it as out. So the same name what you have taken, you have to keep here. Out. Reference is ground add. Similarly, I require the input. So add the input. So insert command. So now I have given the transient analysis, and I have also want to print the output and input voltage, input voltages in the transient analysis. So next, run the simulation. So if you run the simulation, if there are any errors, means so we are not getting the output here, that means there might be the error here. So what is the error is node N is only attached to the FET gate. Okay, so there is the warning here. So due to this we are not getting the output. So let us check what is the problem. So so now close this waveform window here. You can see here. So node N is only attached to gate and voltage is undefined. The thing is that the what is the problem here is that I have not given the input voltage here. Okay, so if I give the input voltage only, then I get the output. So it is the error here. So now what I have to do is that, so I have to give the input voltage. Okay, so now I can give the input voltage in the circuit, or else I can give the input voltage to the spice coding also. So let us see how I can give the input voltage to the spice coding here. Okay, so to the circuit here. So now what I do is that, so in the spice elements here, so there is voltage source. Okay, so instance, so you click on the, you keep the voltage source here. So next, if you click on this voltage source here, so next what is that, you can see the interface here. So these are the different types of voltage sources. So bits DC voltage source, so exponential voltage source, frequency modulated voltage source, pulse voltage source, and sinusoidal voltage source. So these are the different types of input voltage sources we can given here. So for this CMOS inverter, so normally the CMOS inverter will be in terms of zeros and ones. So therefore I am going to select the input voltage source is pulse. Okay, so select the pulse input voltage source here. So next, so once now you can see how the input has been changed to pulse here. So now let us see here. Okay, so the frequency is 1, the time period is 200 nanoseconds, delay is 0 nanoseconds, so rise time is 5 nanoseconds, fall time is 5 nanoseconds. So in the universe, okay, so there will be a no signal that will be directly converted from 0 to 1. So in order to make the signal transition from 0 to 1 here, so there will be a rise time, and in order to make the signal transition from 1 to 0, there will be the fall time. So that I have specified it as 5 nanoseconds and 5 nanoseconds. So after that, now connect your to the input, and next we have to ground this pulse voltage source. So MISC ground the pulse voltage source, ground the pulse voltage source. So next, so pulse voltage source here. So now similarly here it is VDD here. Okay, so VDD means nothing but the supply voltage. So this supply voltage will not be same for all the voltages here. Okay, so this will be varying with respect to the technology. So in the 45 nanometer technology, as per the PTM model files, so the maximum supply voltage we can give as 1.1 volts. So now what I can do is that, so again go to the spice elements. In the spice elements, again go to the voltage source. So this, so place the voltage source here. So the supply voltage will be the DC supply voltage to the VDD. So DC supply voltage, the maximum supply voltage in the 45 nanometer is 1.1 volts. So 1.1 volts. Okay, so next instance, place it, and next ground the voltage source once again here. So place the voltage source. So now connect this. So now I have given the supply voltage to the VDD as 1.1. So in the pulse voltage source, so you can see here the high voltage is 5 volts. It has to be taken to the maximum VD voltage 1.1 here. Okay, so now save it. So once you save it, next again go to the spice. So the remaining settings are the same. So now you open the spice command. So now the spice command is opening here. So the same thing, just we have added the voltage sources. So similarly here, in the output, again add the transient output here. So in ground, so similarly out insert command which you have done in the before. So now run your, save it and run the simulation. So if you run the simulation now, so you are getting the outputs. So here there is a thing, so click on that, so separate the traces. So now we can see the waveforms here. Okay, so if the input waveform is starting from 0 and it is going to 1.1 volt and again it is coming back to 0, so it is a train of pulses from 0 to 1000 nanoseconds depending upon the time we have kept it. Similarly, if the input is equal to 1 here, the corresponding output is 0. If the input is 1, the output is 1. So that means, so we are getting the functionality of a inverter here. The input is equal to 0, output is 1, and output is equal to 0, input is equal to 1. So it is the basic transient analysis, how you can measure the relation between the input and output with respect to the time. So it is the transient analysis. Now let us see what is the power consumed by this circuit here. Okay, so in order to see the power consumption of this circuit, so current source here, or else you can go to the output power. So the power supply will be with respect to the VDD. So the voltage source or the resistor through which to compute the power dissipated. Okay, the VDD is, power supply is nothing but V2 here. So therefore give it as V2. So that is the, whatever the voltage source that is connected to the VDD has to be taken here. So to the VDD we have given the voltage source V2 here. So V2 start time as 0 nanoseconds. Again the simulation end time is 1000 nanoseconds which we have taken. So insert command. So now again you run it. So here invalid. So that means the voltage source name is, sorry, VV2 here, the voltage source name. So you take it as VV2. Now you run it. So now you can you are getting the waveform here. So in the workspace here, so you can see here. Okay, so the power results. So the average power consumed for this is 2.66 into 10 to the power of minus 8 watts, and the maximum power consumed is 1.16 into 10 to the power of minus into 10 to the power of minus 6, and the minimum power consumed is 9.2 into 10 to the power of minus 1. So it is the power consumption report for your CMOS inverter at 45 nanometer technology. So similarly, let us see how the DC analysis will be done for the same circuit. So go to the SPICE command, DC transfer sweep here. So sweep 1. So what I do is that, so linear, so parameter name. So what I do is that, so I take the parameter name as VV1 here. So parameter name is VV1. So start time is, start voltage is, let us say, so 0.1. If the input voltage is 0.1 and the stop voltage is 1, the number, so I have to plot it for increment of 0.1. So accept it. So now you run it once again. Before that, we have not taken the DC output plot here. Okay, so again go to command window here. So output is DC results. Okay, so transient results we have taken. Now take the DC results. Again the node name input, the same name we have to give. So it is ground here. Similarly out ground So now we run it. You can see here. So it is the DC analysis here. Okay. So 0 to 1. So if the input is 0, so it is 1. So similarly, the transient analysis also you can see once again. So now let us see how the temperature variation here. Voltage source settings, output, power we have taken. So or else what you can do is that analysis. So parametric sweep analysis. So it's a different thing. So in the parametric sweep analysis, source name. The source name is VV1. Start time the same thing, 0.1. The stop voltage you take it as 1. So increment is 0.1. So it is the part of DC. And next is temperature. So let us see how the output also varies with respect to temperature. So now run the simulation now. Yeah. So if you run the simulation now, so you can see here easily. So at this is the simulation result at the different temperatures, and now you can see the output variation with respect to temperature. So now you can see here, these are the power results. Okay, so at temperature has 0.1 degrees. So what is the power results at 0.2 degrees? What is the power results? So normally just I have given the temperature as 0.1 and 0.2 degrees, but it should be from some 10 to 50 or 10 to 60. So you can see here how the temperature is varying with respect to how the output power is varying with respect to the temperature. You can see all the 10 values which you have been asked for plotting. So you can see there is a variation. Now if you vary the temperature, for example, so now what I am doing is that so 10, so for every 10 degrees centigrade, so I have to vary the output. So from 10 to 50 degrees, I am varying the temperature. So you can see here. So if you run it at 50 degree centigrade, so these are the power values. If you run it at 40 degrees centigrade, and these are the power values. So these are the different power values at different temperatures. So since it is a small circuit, you cannot vary the differences. So when you run for the bigger circuits, you can easily see the variation in the output power with respect to the temperature.